Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome to Call of War. I want to give the developers a massive shout out for sponsoring another series of videos as we get to have our brand new game. But this isn't going to be like last time. This isn't going to be like last time where it's just 100 of us all fighting it out, for fun. This time, the stakes are higher. We're going to be playing in an Armageddon type mode between me, Diplexheated, and Karmakut. Diplexheated is a massive friend of the channel. We've done content together for literally years, since I've started doing YouTube. And Karmakut, I've never actually met him or spoken to him. However, I've been watching his post-scripting gameplay for ages. So we are going to be going up against them, guys. And that's when I need your support. I need you guys to come and fight and die alongside me. So in this Armageddon mode, we'll all be joining in. All three of our communities will be joining into two different maps, both of them being on this epic 100-man scale campaign map, which you guys would have saw if you played in the last one we did on this game of Call to War, also Call of War. And yeah, you'll be picking the same sort of factions again and hopefully fighting alongside me. In our last one I was playing as the UK and you can see it didn't end too well. This is how the last one ended up, so big shout out to everyone who played in this game, and I just want to go give them a big shout out to all the winners basically who formed the victorious powers to finish the game. So big shout out to all of them for playing. It was a crazy 2 months or month and a half, or I'm not even sure how long we actually ended up playing for, but it was really fun. Some epic wars indeed, and I'll show you guys more about that in a second. A few things to mention though later on in the video where I'm going to show you guys basically how this game works. I got a few things wrong which I'll go ahead and mention right now. One is which we are not playing on the beta build, which you're going to be seeing. So we're not going to be playing with Doctrines. We're not going to be playing with the new updated tech trees or build trees quite yet. That's going to be, in a couple months. I think they're planning on releasing that, so just keep that in mind. That what you're going to be seeing isn't exactly what we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing a little bit of the current version, so not all the new awesome changes which are coming, but it's even more reason to get into the game because them changes are coming and it's going to make the game even better than it already is. As well as that, I think I mentioned that only 33 of you can join in each of the games. That is not correct. Basically, it's first come, first serve. So if none of you guys get into the game quick enough, then it's going to be me on my lonesome up against the hordes of Karmakut and Diplex's fans looking to take us out. So I need you guys to join up, and you can find all the passwords and stuff in the link in the description, and obviously a link to actually join up and be a part of these games and create an account for Call of War, which will go ahead and give you 7,000 free gold, as well as I think 2 weeks of the High Command, which is kind of like their premium version. So make sure you sign up in the description. Even if you don't get into the main game, there is going to be another game as well where people can join. So if you don't make it into the first one, make sure you join the second one, because that way you can fight and die for my honor as well. So I'm going to need all of you guys to go ahead and join up. As I said, password and game ID is in the description, and I'll show you guys exactly how you join at the end of the video. Just wanted to make sure I reminded you of these because I get a few things wrong in this video. One of them, as I said, being 33 players, as many people can join or as few people can join from each community, and that we're not going to be playing on the 1.5 version. We're going to be playing on the current version, which doesn't have as all the awesome stuff that's coming yet, but it's still a very awesome game, and we're still going to have so much fun because this first game was just insane. I'll leave a link in the description as well to check out my previous videos on this game as well, because yeah, it was a dope campaign fighting you guys, 100 of you guys. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Let's jump in to see how the gameplay works, and then finally how the game will end up and how you actually become how you actually join up and enter into these games. So yeah, hopefully I'll see all you guys there, and yeah, let's just dive in. So welcome, guys. This is a bit of a fresher game right now. I think I'm about 3 days into this match, and yeah, things are going pretty well. It's already starting off my conquest of the Egyptian land around here, pushing into Saudi Arabia, and hopefully securing ourselves some nice oil right there. There's also been some really big updates as well, which we'll run through in a second. So basically, if you've never played Call to War ever in your life, it's basically an online real-time strategy game that forces you to have to anticipate enemy attacks whilst you're building up your territory, building units, sending them off to war, and moving into enemy territory, countering their units. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a really fun game. I've personally played that ever-living crap out of the last sponsorship we did. I'm so glad they wanted to come back and do more. So yeah, as I said, it's real time, so when you move units on the battle map, they take 5 hours to move. So when you're moving around terrain into different cities to reinforce and hold up your borders against enemy attacks, it takes time to do that. So when I move a unit, it's going to take 5 hours to attack, and obviously the people I'm attacking, Saudi Arabia, who I don't think is a player, I think this is an AI controlled nation, but there are plenty of players in this game. You can tell by the little picture right here. These guys will be able to react to that and reinforce, and it will take them time to move their forces to reinforce this region. So for example, Saudi Arabia will be moving men to Yanbu, but if I get there first, then that really benefits me because then I'm the defender, which is, yeah, it's really cool. So that's basically how movement works in the game. You obviously also have cities, which all come with resources. You can see there are valuable resource icons around the map, and these will feed into your hourly tick rate of resources. So the more provinces you have, the more of these top resources you'll get. Food is obviously used to upkeep units, to build new barracks, to build new units. Goods, again, is kind of a similar thing to use to build buildings and other units. Manpower is obviously, what you need to put into soldiers, so all units you recruit will come from that. Steel and oil will obviously be required to build tanks, battleships, submarines, aircraft. That's kind of that focus. And rare materials is really focused in on, building really important buildings like research facilities and industrial centers, as well as research itself and maybe some really intense units. So rare materials is definitely a pretty crazy resource you want to try and stockpile, because you also have a working stock market in the entirety of the game, which goes ahead and ebb and flows as the game goes on. As people gain more resources from a certain thing, it's going to take a dip in the stock market, because all of these offers right now are player put in. So players determine the price, and you can come in and undercut someone. You can go really high, thinking that the market's going to end up running out of a certain resource, and then capitalize on that. In our last sponsored video, I went ahead and played the stock market pretty heavily, made some good money, and moved on from there. Eventually, rare materials for 4.3. Hell yeah, let's buy that. But again, you spend cash, so you're getting cash for, again, taxing your population, which again kind of filters in quite efficiently. So in the early game, maybe spending food and then buying a bunch of rare materials for the late game is really important, and it could come out really useful. So I love the way that the stock market kind of ebb and flows, and you can put up your own markets and see what you bought and stuff. It's really, really cool, because I think in our again, 100-man game we did previously, rare materials were all the way up at 30 per rare material. So you could, if you had a bunch of them, you could absolutely stockpile them. And one of the reasons they are so important is because all technology is now required. They've also done a great job of cleaning up all of this technology tree and stuff. Again, really great improvement since the last time we played it. There's a lot more kind of division in certain units and stuff, and it kind of cleans up the whole aesthetic of the game. So actually really impressed with that. And you obviously spend this on recruiting units. You can see maybe the cheaper units don't. Oh wow, they've actually changed it. So a lot of these units don't cost rare materials. Before, every unit cost rare materials, but they've changed it, which again, I think is actually a pretty good change, because rare materials is pretty hard to come by. Oh, awesome. And then kind of the more specialized units are all rare materials. Nice. That is good to see. So yeah, again, research is going to be a very important thing. The higher levels you get of these certain things, the better they are going to be, and they're all locked behind a certain day period. So obviously you have, I think, 12 or 24-hour cycles. I think in our game it's going to be 24-hour cycles, but in the game I'm playing it's a little bit faster. So again, you won't be able to unlock the best fighters until 10 days have passed in game, which kind of gives everyone kind of like a catch-up mechanic. You can heavily focus on getting something as soon as day 10 rolls around, but eventually someone else will get that and attach up. Oh, they've also added in attack bombers as well. That's kind of cool. Kind of get a more offensive planes that are better at killing like tanks, like anti-tank bombers. Awesome. And this is obviously the stats screen. Right now you have like an upkeep of a unit whenever you recruit one. You have its damages, what it's good at, and you also have what terrain it really excels on. So there are certain terrains, for example, that say we go on tanks. Tanks will be really good at fighting on open plains, and they're a lot less efficient fighting on other bits of terrain. I think they're really poor in fighting in cities. You can also see what they're good against as well. So like unarmored, this tank does 2.7 damage against. It's really good at fighting enemy light armor, and is okay at fighting against heavy armor. Obviously the heavier tanks will be able to absolutely demolish that. Look at the differences. 11 against heavy armor, these heavy tanks will slaughter. And you also have finally kind of secret research, which are like rockets and nuclear weapons and stuff like that. You obviously have naval stuff as well. Oh, the naval tree is looking juicy. I love that. I played as Britain or the UK in my last game, and it was just really fun. My navy was ruling the waves until it wasn't. We had some insane naval battles, though. That was a ton of fun. Maybe I'll play as Japan. Maybe I'll continue on that theme and play as Japan in the next game we do, as obviously we are over in Asia. That could be fun. But yeah, so that's going to be researching the game. Obviously building as well, so you know you need certain stuff to build certain aircraft and stuff. So you need to obviously build airfields and industrial centers. You can see, you know, what everything needs by just clicking on this, and it will tell you you need an ordnance factory and a research facility. They have also changed and added in more buildings, which again I think is really good. They've split up, you know, beforehand I think it was just a barracks and an industrial complex and infrastructure, and then you can recruit every unit. Now they've made it so that you have to specialize. So a barracks does infantry, ordnance foundry does like artillery, anti-tank, aircraft, tank plant obviously does tanks, and aircraft again, and naval bases obviously do what they say on the tin. They've added in a secret lab as well, which obviously will be better for late game. So yeah, again, really good updates to the game. Like honestly, super impressed with it. I think it will add a lot to gameplay and just give you more options to specialize in certain stuff. Whereas before it was kind of like, oh, I have a barracks, we can just go from there. One of the new things as well, which I think is really cool, they've added in is doctrines. So each nation has a specific doctrine. There are 4 in the game. There's the Axis, the Allies, the Comintern, and the Pan-Asians. So again, we will be the Pan-Asians. This is the doctrine that all of our countries will have. So we'll get increased unit speed, which is great. We can obviously hit and run, get in before they can reinforce. That's going to be amazing. Increased unit range, which is great. We'll be able to see attacks coming before the enemy can see what we have defending. We also have increased terrain bonuses, which is huge. Obviously, you know, playing like that Japanese, hard-hitting, utilizing terrain. You know, our forces which are going to be really good at defending cities are going to be excelling even more at doing that. However, our units are a bit weaker to kind of counteract that. So, you know, when we're playing our Pan-Asian factions, we're going to have to make sure that we are strong and sturdy, you know, utilizing every one of our advantages. The Axes get better unit damage and unit hit points, so their kind of units are better, however they cost more. The Allies are more optimized about production, research, and they get obviously a supplement of, so their units are a lot slower. So maybe us attacking the Allies, I mean, we'll probably, yeah, we'll mainly be fighting the Allies, Axis. I guess we'll be fighting everyone. And I guess also some of our team, because we're part of like the whole of Asia, will have some Russian nations in. We'll also have the Comintern as well. He will just be spamming out units. Cheaper unit upkeep, cheaper unit cost, however the damage is a lot less. So we'll kind of be bottom 2, where the Allies I imagine will be all 3, as we won't get all of the, you know, all of Russia. You know, these will probably still be in the Europe sphere of whoever's playing in Europe, whereas we'll kind of get the more Siberian Russian factions. So yeah, I love that change. Again, really good. Diplomacy is obviously part of the game. You can message people, you can trade embargo people so they can't receive your goods on the market, which is again pretty dope. And you can obviously also share maps and intel with one another. Espionage is a really big thing in the game, because you can go ahead and destroy enemy buildings with stuff. You can get troop movements through espionage by placing spies. So for example, if I wanted to place a spy down here, I would go over to, I guess, the capital, and you know, I could search for intelligence. This will cost me some money to recruit a spy and put in, but they're really useful. As I said, you can get units locations, so you can see how fortified a border is by the AI. You can destroy buildings or economic buildings, which we'll then have to repair, which is a great way of slowing down other people's production speed. You can also actually find out messages from people as well, so you can actually see their private in-game messages to see what they've been saying. And in our last game, this was huge. We found out that someone was going to betray us because we discovered a message from someone, and we found out that they were planning, they still had shared maps of our enemies. So we completely, you know, that espionage was just really cool, because we managed to discover private messages and other stuff. It was actually really dope. So espionage is a good addition to the game. You also have the newspaper as well. Not many people use this newspaper, but in our game, people were putting up art, you know, role play stuff, which was really dope to see. You know, people were role playing pretty heavily, condemning actions and stuff. So that was a ton of fun. And then you obviously have coalitions. You can form up teams and stuff, like kind of clans of 5 people. And again, in our 100-man game, we had a big clan and a smaller clan. So yeah, that's going to be it for the gameplay. That's basically how the game functions. And obviously, if you like what you see, follow on to the next part of this video where I'll show you guys exactly how you can join the game and be a part of this epic showdown between me, Karmakut, and Diplexheated. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you guys just how easy it is to go and join the games that I'll be hosting alongside the other YouTubers. So all you're going to have to do is, after signing up on the Call of War website, go over to the game section right here, go to new game, and then just put in the game ID, which will be down below in the description. Alongside that, there'll also be the second game information down there as well. So if the first one does end up being full, you can just use the second one's information down below and join up and be a part of that one, as we'll only have so many slots in this game. Obviously the other YouTubers will also get their 33 slots, so they will be kind of limited in this campaign, but hopefully you guys can get in and everyone who wants to play can do so. So once you've typed in the code, which is in the description for the main game, it's going to be this. All you have to do is click that in, click join, and then you'll have to enter the password. The password for the first game is going to be Master Rivals 1 again, or Master Rivals 06, sorry, which again will be down below in the description. And then the password for the second one will be Community Rivals 1, which again, all information will be down below, but it's just that easy. Go ahead and enter the password, click join, and then it will load up and you'll be able to pick your faction, pick what country you're playing as. Obviously, as I said, our nation, we're going to be over in Asia, so we're going to have to pick all the Asian factions. I'm not sure exactly what ones we're playing. I think it's all of these guys and Asia as well. So yeah, and maybe Australasia, so it should be pretty good and pretty exciting. So yeah, hopefully you guys are looking forward to this campaign. I know I definitely am. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the campaign, and we'll be uploading another sponsored video in a couple weeks time, seeing how we got on in this campaign. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and fish out.